Hi, so I am in Yesan today. Yesan is about 2 hours away from Seoul. It's in Chungcheong province. And I'm here today to talk with some of my friends who've been living here, teaching in Korea. And I wanted to ask about their experience living in Yesan. So here we go.
Hi, my name is Justin. I'm an English teacher here in Yesan for the last 3 years.
I'm Garima, I'm Justin's wife. I am not an English teacher, I'm a counseling psychologist. Yeah.
And could you tell us about what Yesan is like?
We moved from Bangalore, India, which is a very noisy, busy, big city, and we moved to Yesan, which I think has a population of 50,000.
It's quite quaint and it's our county and it started to, it's been our home like you said for the past 3 years and we found our community here.
I think the best way to describe our feeling is when we come back from the station, we get off the station, the Yesan Yok, we
We're
feel like
home.
we're home, which is a nice feeling.
What makes it feel home and what do you like about Yesan?
It's the little things I think in Yesan. Some of the things that I've not seen in the big cities in Korea, just the connection you start to form with your convenience store guy or your restaurants that you keep frequenting because of the lack of options. So you keep going to that restaurant because it's also nice, but also you form a connection with people there.
We know and greet, the CEO owner or one of the restaurants. You have conversations, they greet you, which
Yeah.
makes you feel a part of the community. It's very different to what we came from, and I think we wanted something quiet and
Yeah. Like I recently went back to India just for a trip and I just found myself bowing to everybody and wanting to greet everybody and wanting to like have some like kind of a chit chat that you do with, let's say, a taxi driver or your grocery store guy. And of course the people there, they were looking at me very differently, like, what are you doing? Why are you bowing
why are
down
you
to me?
greeting us?
So you're saying you feel like you're a part of the community? You don't feel like you stick out?
You'll always stick out being a foreigner,
Yeah.
especially in a smaller place. Like in Seoul, you probably get away with it more because it's more foreigners, you can blend in more. But once you know, made the connection, greeted a few times, you don't feel too much like,
And yeah.
you will be accepted, I think, into the community, and
Yeah.
but it's also you have to put in a bit of effort. We both
Yeah.
started to learn
Korean.
Korean, and that made a very big difference.
That was a massive foot in the door. Of course, to achieve fluency levels, it'll take some time. So to have bigger conversations or in-depth conversations and connecting on that deeper level would, of course, take some time. But being accepted, or that feeling of acceptance by the local community here was definitely something that we felt because we conversed with them in Korean.
How did you end up in Yesan? I'm sure you had a lot of options for you, but
Not really.
Actually, no.
No. How EPIK works, the English program in Korea, which I'm on, is you can give preferences. I think you can give your top 3 preferences, and I think 95% of people put Seoul. We weren't very concerned about having to go just to Seoul, so we knew that if we just put anywhere, our chances would be better. Before coming here, all we knew was that
You
it
were
was in
accepted
the
in
Chungcheongnam-do.
Chungcheongnam-do.
Yeah, so we just knew the province.
Yeah.
I only knew where I was going a couple of days before. During my orientation, I was contacted by the previous teacher, and then they were like, she
Oh,
was
you're
like,
coming
I'm
here.
you're coming to Yesan. I'm like, oh, okay. Where's Yesan? What's Yesan?
I think it took us some time to orient ourselves. Like, where are we? what's going on and what city is this? Oh, it's not a city, it's a county.
Yeah.
All right. So we of course took our time orienting ourselves.
It also depends on, I guess, your expectations.
Yeah.
What you are as a person. I think we were
Pretty open to
to whatever
getting
comes our
anything.
way, we will
Yeah.
make it work.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
I think if you're very rigid in what you want and what you expect, you probably won't have a good time.
Yeah, that's true. Or if you keep comparing things to, let's say,
Seoul.
your home country or bigger cities in Korea, you're gonna have a tough time. You're gonna start feeling frustrated.
Biggest thing is just there is no English.
Yeah,
So
in
if you want to
smaller
get
towns.
if you want to get a haircut, you know,
How do you
that's-
explain?
you have to explain, and that's difficult. And these are the
Yeah.
small things. Like in the beginning, that was extremely frustrating.
He would come home
because
with
I
a different
had
haircut every time
like
he went for a
six different
haircut.
haircuts from the same hairdresser. I was like, how is this possible? So I think the biggest thing in rural, I don't, it's not really rural, the smaller towns is there is no English, and every single, task that you need to do is harder
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
I was wondering about now a bit more of teaching. In terms of teaching here in Yesan, what did you like and what do you find it challenging in teaching kind of outside of Seoul, you know?
I think
I don't speak right.
English in Korea is about an accent. It's not about learning the
Yeah.
language. They want a certain accent, which is British, American,
Australian,
New
South
Zealand,
African,
South African,
Ireland.
Canadian, maybe Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Ireland as
So
well.
there are only 7 countries, maybe there's more now. So I'm the teacher because I come from South Africa, which is deemed to be an acceptable accent. I don't really know too much about what teaching in Seoul would be. I just assume there'd be more English, which would make things easier, and you'd have a much higher level for your students, which makes communicating, developing relationships easier. So I, on those bases, just assume it would be easier. What I think the best part of teaching is, or probably is the relationship you form with the kids, and not so much the actual teaching. And so because of that, I am at a disadvantage, firstly because of the language, that you can't form a real relationship with no, not being able to speak the language. And second, I think generally in the rural, outside of Seoul, you tend to teach at more than one school. So I teach at 3 schools. So again, I'm spending less time with the students because it's spread over 3 different schools, and I don't develop the same relationship. So I think the best part of teaching I don't get to really enjoy. So that makes it difficult to judge subjectively. With that being said, I have enjoyed the students and all of that, but it's been difficult. My first semester was incredibly difficult because I knew no Korean, and I had to teach on my own at my Monday and Friday school, which, not ever being a teacher, was difficult.
Daunting,
and
yeah.
trying to discipline elementary school kids in English is just, they're not going to listen.
So you said you had to travel to 3 different schools.
Yeah.
Does that mean you have to travel on your own to 3 different schools, yeah?
Yeah. My Monday school is close. It's a 15-minute bus ride there and back. My main school is a 50-minute to an hour-long bus ride there, and because it's really rural, the frequency of the buses is less, which means I have to take an earlier bus. I take it at 7:25. School starts at 9. And my Friday school is even more remote, and that takes about an hour and 10 minutes. But as time went on, and I, spoke to some teachers, made a bit of relationships, friends, I got lifts. So now that has saved a lot of time.
And money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now that you've taught for 3 years in Yesan, what's your impression on kids here in Korea?
I like them. I think I do. I have, you know,
I like
I have
them.
a lot of fun with the kids. I think they are living and having really good lives, and I think, you know, with reference to Seoul, it is a lot less stressful. Kids get to be kids, I think, more than let's go to this hug one, then the next hug one, then the next hug one, and yeah, I think it's a lot less stressful.
What was it like for you, Garima, to kind of watching,
Become a teacher.
working as a teacher here?
I think it took a while for Justin to understand first of all understand how it is to be a teacher, what he's supposed to be doing and how he has to handle all of this, because even though he did receive orientation from EPIK, it's just you're still very much on your own. It's almost like whatever you taught in the orientation, half of that will happen.
Not
And
even.
and you just have to sort of go along and go with the flow and still figure stuff out, especially when there isn't a co-teacher for Justin. So it was hard because he would come home all empathied out, like he had no more to give to anybody else, because just being with the kids and having a certain kind of energy and maintaining that energy throughout your work day can be extremely exhausting, and it can be exhausting for I can imagine that being exhausting, for extroverts who have a lot of the energy and who are animated and who are like, all of that with the kids. But I don't think Justin is as extroverted as, let's say, someone else, like even me. So it took a lot for him, to figure stuff out and to figure out the balance of what to give and what to reserve, and finding an expat community who are teachers definitely helps, because it becomes almost like a support network, that you're all in the same boat, or at least you're going through the same thing. Maybe some people are more seniors, they've been here for like a year or two before you, so they have more knowledge to impart on you. So that definitely helped Justin figure stuff out in teaching.
Beginning is just figuring out what is expected of you, and that
Yeah.
isn't really defined anywhere. So, if your school doesn't put any sort of real importance on English, it was a struggle for me to be like, okay, how much effort do I put in
Yeah.
versus I feel like the kids are going to be the ones who lose out if I put in the effort that I think the school wants. So it was this kind of, where is the balance of what I put in versus what is expected versus the reality of what this job is here, and I think I just realized at this age, at this, point in their lives where English is, it was just make sure the kids are having fun.
Those elementary experiences and elementary
Yeah.
level can cement your interest for English, like at a later level, that maybe actually, yeah, I do want to learn English and I'm not really put off by it, because I actually did have fun.
Yeah, you're not going to come in and
Yeah.
reinvent the wheel by any means, and I think they're going to learn at pretty much the same rate.
Yeah.
So you might as well just make it fun for them. And I think middle and high school is going to be tough enough, so let them have a good fun start to
Yeah.
the language, because I mean, I would have appreciated this information prior to coming.
I think I can definitely remember a lot of anxiety just of the unknown.
The apartment was, I think, our biggest concern, because, and then everything in Hangul, and I was like, oh wow, this is a foreign country.
Standing out in the crowd, but at the same time getting lost in the crowd, which was a very funny feeling.